Building fitness into who you are or who you want to become will always outperform trying to motivate yourself every day. Motivation is unreliable. It shows up when things are easy and often disappears when they're not. Identity is different. It holds when you're tired, when work is heavy, and when life stacks up. For me, movement isn't something I try to fit in. It's something I notice immediately when it's missing. If I sit too long and don't move, I feel it. My focus drops, my patience drops. I'm quicker to react and slower to think things through. Same problems, just a worse version of me handling them. We've built a life where we can do almost anything from a chair. And that convenience is great, but it comes with a cost. Somewhere along the way, movement went from something we needed to do to live to something we have to remind ourselves to do at all. When pressure hits, you don't rise to the plane, you fall back to what you've built. I'm Kevin Pinnell, Navy veteran, program leader, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. The show is about building that foundation, how you think, how you move, and what keeps you steady when things don't go your way. Own your mind, move your body, anchor your spirit. If you go back to Spartan society, movement wasn't optional. It was tied to identity and survival. You were expected to be in physical shape and physically capable, not because it looked good, but because it mattered. That held true for a long time. Farmers, laborers, soldiers, people moved because life required it. Strength and endurance were built into daily living. Then we moved into a more modern world. Work became more specialized, more sedentary. Movement started to drop off, but it was still there in pieces. By the time you get to the 70s, 80s America, you see fitness come back into focus, but in a different way. Running becomes popular, gyms start to grow. People like Arnold Schwarzenegger bring lifting into the mainstream. But even then, something shifted, right? Because movement became something you do, not something you live. And now we've taken it even further, I think, in a wrong direction for a lot of folks. Most people spend the majority of their day sitting, then try to offset it with a short workout or skip it entirely. We went from needing movement to survive to needing reminders to move at all. Now let's bring that into what this actually looks like today, right? We hear a lot about the benefits of exercise, better sleep, less stress, improved mood, all true. But here's what I've actually seen. When I don't move, I'm not as clear, I'm more reactive, I have less patience in conversations, small problems feel bigger than they are. When I do move, especially early, everything shifts. I think more clearly, I handle conversations better, I'm more measured, more practical. And that's just not physical, it's mental, right? Regular movement helps regulate stress. It gives our body a controlled way to deal with pressure. It improves how our brains process information and make decisions. It also is one of the most effective tools we have for managing anxiety and depression. In many cases, consistent movement can have the same or better impact than medication. And here's what doesn't get talked about enough. Movement improves how you operate under pressure. If you're used to pushing through a hard set, a tough run, or a difficult round, you're training your mind to stay composed when things get uncomfortable. And that carries into everything else. Let me show you what that looks like in my life. I work primarily remote, which means I sit more than I should. And because of that, I make it a point to break it up, right? I get up regularly, I get outside every day, rain or shine. And I've tested this enough to know the difference, right? If I skip movement for a few days, which is very rare, I feel it quickly. I'm less alert, less confident, more irritable. I'm not as sharp in how I show up for my team or my family. When I train, whether it's in my garage gym or on the mats of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then get some cold exposure, I'm in a different place. I am more grounded, I am focused, I'm ready. And at 52, I'm also seeing what consistency does over time. I'm hitting personal records or PRs now that I didn't hit in my 40s. Deadlift, squat, bench, overhead press, not because I found a new program, but because I stayed consistent. I've kept an 8-minute mile standard. My cardio on the mats is better now than when I started. Movement has also helped me through some of the harder parts of my life. When my father was fighting cancer, daily movement gave me structure. It didn't change what was happening, but it changed how I handled it. It kept me grounded. Looking back, I would have tightened up other areas sooner, but that became less as I applied it later. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu adds another layer. When you're on the mats, you don't get to think about anything else. You're dealing with someone in front of you who is trying to outmaneuver you or control you, submit you. You have to be present, and over time, that carries over. So what do you actually do with this? For me, movement's non-negotiable. I don't decide if I'm going to do it, I decide when. If I have an early day, I get up earlier. I move, get some cold exposure, then I start the day. because once the day starts, it gets harder to control. If you're starting from zero, start simple. Bodyweight movements or the 4 main lifts, bench, squat, overhead, press, deadlift, that's enough. You don't need a complex program. You need a baseline you can stick to. Here's how you can establish your baseline starting today. It's not a workout, it's a check on where you are right now, a baseline. Walk 1 mile to warm up, right? If you feel good, do 1 minute of push-ups, as many as you can. Give yourself a 2-minute rest. Then do 1 minute of air squats. That's just acting like you're sitting in a chair and getting back up. Give yourself another 2-minute rest. Then find a bar and do as many pull-ups as you can for no time. Just do it. Then give yourself 5 minutes. Then find a place where you can run 1 mile. Try not to stop. These are your baselines. How many push-ups, how many air squats, how many pull-ups, how much can you run, how fast can you run? Now you know where you are, and you can take this further by keeping it simple and consistent. Right? If you train for life, the look will follow. Right? If you're consistently working chest, arms, legs, back, shoulders, and core, you're going to build muscle. Support that with better nutrition, more protein, less processed food, recovery, and sleep. You can also undo a lot of that by eating poorly and skipping recovery. And as we age, this matters more. You can be stronger and in better shape in your 50s than you were earlier in your life. But it takes consistent work. Simple work done regularly. Let's close this out and bring it back to you. When I don't move, I don't lead as well. I'm more reactive, less clear, less patient. When I do, I show up differently. More grounded, more capable, more steady. That's me, right? Similarly, you don't build confidence by thinking about it. You build it by doing hard things consistently. Movement is one of the simplest ways to do that. So don't wait for motivation. Build yourself a new identity and move your body today. If this helped you, take something from it and put it to work today. Don't just let it sit. You can find more at ownmoveanchor.com. You can follow me in the show on X and Instagram at ownmoveanchor and on YouTube, ownmoveanchor. If you know someone who needs this, share it with them. Own your mind, move your body, anchor your spirit. Keep showing up, keep doing the work. Godspeed, y'all.